trucks rolled into Hollow Creek just after dusk. Old men on porch swings looked up from their whittling. Mothers paused while hanging out laundry. Children pressed their faces to windows, eyes wide as a convoy of rusted red and gold wagons rumbled past. Painted with chipped swirls and fading stars, they looked more like relics than part of a traveling show. The Crimson Vale Carnival had arrived. No one remembered requesting it. No one remembered hearing of it. But a carnival was a carnival, and in a town like Hollow Creek, not much ever happened. By the next morning, the field on the edge of town had transformed. Twisting rides creaked into life. A striped tent stretched into the sky like a cathedral of chaos. Candy-colored booths lined the makeshift paths, manned by crooked smiles and silent stares. Then there were the clowns, tall, thin, and silent. Each wore a different animal mask: fox, goat, bear, owl, painted in vivid colors, eyes hollow and empty. They never spoke. They only watched and handed out tickets. Children were entranced. Parents were uneasy, but the laughter of their kids drowned out their doubts. The show must go on. For 1 week, Hollow Creek was alive in a way it hadn't been in decades. And then, on the 7th night, it all vanished. No closing act, no farewell, no trucks, no tire tracks, just dead grass, a few torn pieces of red ribbon fluttering in the morning breeze. And silence. The police called it a prank. The older folks called it a miracle. But the children remembered the laughter and the eyes behind those masks. Some swore they still heard the carousel music at night, spinning slowly in the distance, even though the field was empty, even though it's been 39 years, and somewhere out there the carnival waits, waiting for the curtain to rise again, because the carnival never leaves. Lily Winters kicked at a loose stone on the cracked pavement as she walked home from school. The wind had a strange bite to it that afternoon. Cold, but not like the weather. More like something was watching, listening. She pulled her hoodie tighter and glanced toward the old field on the edge of town. Nothing there. Just dead grass, a few crooked trees, and the rusted remnants of a forgotten fence. But it always gave her the creeps. Her mom called it Crimson Field, though nobody really used that name anymore. Not out loud. That night, as the sun dipped below the rooftops, something new appeared. Flyers, dozens of them, stapled to telephone poles, taped to shop windows, tucked into mailboxes. The Crimson Vale Carnival, one final show, in bright red letters curling like flames. Below it, a time, sunset, no date, no location, just sunset. Lily's phone buzzed with messages from her friends. Jay. Dude, these flyers are everywhere. Prank. Savannah. Anyone else hear music last night? Like calliope music. Jay. Yeah, creepy Av. I swear something laughed outside my house. Lily rolled her eyes at first, probably just some viral marketing stunt, until she got home and found an envelope on her bed. There was no stamp, no name. No one had been in her room. But inside was a single golden ticket. Her name was printed in perfect script across the front. Lily Winters, Admit 1. She showed her mom. Her mom turned pale, whispered something under her breath, and shoved it in the drawer without a word. Later that evening, Lily heard giggling, soft, breathy, and high-pitched. She peeked through the curtains and froze. At the edge of the street, under the glow of the flickering lamppost, stood a tall figure in a faded ringmaster's coat. The face was hidden behind a bear mask, painted white and red, the grin twisted wide and unnaturally toothy. He slowly lifted a gloved hand and waved, not at the window, at her little brother Max, who was standing on the porch, smiling back. "Max, get inside!" she shouted, running for the door. By the time she stepped out, the street was empty. No man, no footprints, just a faint, distant jingle, like carousel music on a broken wind-up toy. Max looked up at her and whispered, "He says the carnival's almost ready. He wants me to ride the Ferris wheel first." Lily's blood ran cold because Max had never heard of the Crimson Vale Carnival. No one had spoken of it in years, not since it vanished, and yet the tickets had returned. The laughter had returned, and the carnival was calling. Lily didn't sleep that night. The golden ticket burned in her drawer like a warning, whispering questions she couldn't answer. Why her name? Why now? And why was Max talking to a man in a bear mask that no one else saw? The next day, she confronted her mom. What was the Crimson Vale Carnival? Her mom stiffened. It was nothing, just an old story. Let it go. But Lily didn't let it go. She met up with Jay and Savannah behind the school gym. Jay already had his own ticket, found it taped to his locker. Savannah hadn't gotten one, but admitted she'd seen a figure at the end of her street, standing still under a street lamp. A clown, maybe, or something worse. All signs pointed to the field. So that evening, as the last orange light drained from the sky, they went. Crimson Field was empty until the fog rolled in. Thick and unnatural, it coiled around their legs like smoke, humming with electricity. Then all at once it appeared. Bright lights blinked to life in the mist. Music echoed from nowhere. The Ferris wheel turned slowly in the distance, its seats swaying though no one rode them. Booths materialized one by one, all painted in reds, golds, and bone white. And towering above them all was the big top tent, its stripes shifting like it breathed. People were inside, or something like people. Clowns with animal masks drifted through the fog like ghosts. A fox-faced juggler tossed knives that floated in midair. A goat-headed fire-breather exhaled black smoke. None of them spoke. They only watched. Jay reached into his pocket and pulled out his ticket. It shimmered slightly, pulsing like a heartbeat. "I think it wants us to go in," he muttered. A booming voice cut through the fog. "Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin." Suddenly, everything shifted. The ground rumbled. The carnival was alive. Max appeared at Lily's side. He wasn't supposed to be there, but he stood silently, holding a balloon shaped like a bear's face. "I told you," he said. "He saved me a seat." Lily turned to grab him, but he was already walking toward the tent. The fog swallowed him. She and her friends ran after him, heart pounding, lungs burning. Inside the tent, time broke, the colors twisted, the laughter echoed too loud, too deep, and the show had begun, whether they were ready or not. The moment Lily stepped inside the big top, reality warped. The walls of the tent stretched impossibly high, vanishing into blackness. The ground shifted beneath her feet like a carousel floor, rotating ever so slightly. Every color was too bright, every shadow too dark. And the smell, burnt sugar and something rotten, hung in the air like fog. Max was gone. So were Jay and Savannah. Lily turned in circles, shouting their names, but her voice was swallowed by laughter, low, garbled, and constant. The bleachers were filled with still figures, all wearing animal masks, foxes, owls, goats, bears. None moved, none breathed. A spotlight flickered on. A tall clown in a deer mask stepped onto the center stage and bowed. Behind him, a curtain parted. Jay was wheeled out, strapped to a spinning wheel, eyes wide with fear. Savannah stood across from him, hands trembling, holding a set of glowing darts. Lily screamed. But then the stage flickered, like a broken screen, and they were gone. Lily ran, pushing through velvet curtains and crooked hallways deeper into the heart of the carnival. She passed cages, small ones with shredded clothes inside. She passed mirrors that didn't show her reflection, just static. Finally, she reached a tent hidden behind the main stage. Inside were rows of lockers, each marked with a name. One of them read J. Brighton, another Savannah Liu, and one more, Max Winters. Lily opened Jay's locker. Inside was his mask, a goat's head carved from bone and painted white. A note lay beneath it, scribbled in red ink. The mask chooses the soul. The soul becomes the mask. She opened the next locker, Savannah's, an owl mask, feathers sewn into the edges. Beneath it, her phone, cracked and dead. Lily turned to leave, but standing behind her was a clown. It wore a lion's face. Its eyes were hollow. Its chest rose and fell, slow and heavy. It raised one hand, pointing toward the final locker, Max Winters. Lily stepped forward, trembling. Inside wasn't a mask. It was a mirror. But instead of her brother's reflection, she saw herself, wearing a bear mask, smiling and whispering, "It's your turn now." The tent began to collapse inward, walls tightening like a throat. Laughter swelled, echoing with inhuman glee. And from somewhere beyond the veil of curtains and smoke, the Ringmaster spoke. "Tonight's finale is family." Lily ran. But every corner she turned led her deeper into the maze, and the masks were no longer watching. They were following. The carnival pulsed like a living thing. Tents breathed, rides creaked without wind. The lights no longer sparkled. They burned, flickering like dying stars. Lily stumbled through the maze, chased by shadows wearing toothy grins and hollow eyes. The animal-masked clowns no longer stood silent. They laughed now, loud and wild, and Max was still somewhere inside. Lily burst through a curtain and found herself back in the main tent, only now it had changed. The audience was full, every seat taken by motionless clowns in masks. The spotlight hit the center ring. There stood Max, holding a balloon. The string was wrapped around his wrist like a leash. The Ringmaster stood behind him. He was taller than before. Too tall. His coat dragged along the floor, stitched with faces, crying, screaming, silent. His mask was half human, half beast, a melted deer skull fused with porcelain. He held a cane topped with a golden eye that blinked when no one looked. "Ladies and gentlemen," he boomed, voice layered with echoes of the dead, "our final act tonight, a reunion." The crowd clapped. Slow, synchronized, like a clock counting down. Lily stepped forward. "Let him go." The Ringmaster smiled. "He came willingly. They all do. One laugh, one smile, and they're ours. I'm not part of your show." He tilted his head. "You are now." The floor beneath her glowed red. Her golden ticket floated upward, spinning like a coin in the air, then burned into ash. Masks dropped from the ceiling on strings. Fox, goat, bear, owl, all swaying like hanged bodies. Max looked at her with glassy eyes. "He said I'd get to stay here forever, where it's fun, where no one ever gets old." Lily stepped toward him. "No, Max, this isn't fun. This is a prison. You're not part of their act. You're real. You're mine." The Ringmaster's voice roared, distorted and furious. "He's mine now." The ground cracked. The tent flared with fire. The masked audience rose in unison. But Lily moved first. She lunged for Max, ripping the string from his wrist. The balloon popped like a scream. The Ringmaster shrieked, his mask cracking. The carnival trembled. Tents deflated. Rides rusted in seconds. The sky above them tore open, revealing nothing but stars that blinked like eyes. Lily clutched Max as the world collapsed around them. One last laugh echoed, then silence. She woke up in the middle of the field. Max was asleep beside her. Jay and Savannah were there too, blinking, confused but alive. The carnival was gone. No tents, no music, no lights, just grass, morning dew, and silence. Lily looked down. Max still clutched a small object in his hand. A clown nose, still warm. Far away in another town, a golden flyer fluttered down from the sky and landed on a doorstep. The Crimson Vale Carnival, one final show, sunset. Because the carnival never leaves, it only moves and waits.